How's it going?
Doing good. How about you?
Good.
Nice, nice. Yeah, sorry, I just had to get my audio straight. Now I think I'm pretty ready.
Oh, no, you're fine.
All right, all right. Nice
Um,
to meet you, by the way.
yes, yes, and thank you so much for making the time to do all
Sure.
this with me. I'm sure you guys are really busy. So this is all going to be edited out, so like this portion of just like us like is off the record. But
No
since
problem there.
I didn't have a chance to email you, but I did actually get a chance to dive into Sellerboard a little bit more, and I did have some questions for you.
Of course.
Uh,
So we're going to are we going to go through the questions first?
yeah, I was just gonna give you a heads up
Yeah,
on just a couple things that I did have questions on, and
of course.
then either I can ask you, or you can just cover them. However it works out.
Okay, okay, no problem. Maybe I'll just, start with the demo at the point where I will reach, the part of the tool that you have questions about. Then you can ask me, and I will dive deeper just about to answer your question.
Okay. Okay. I just didn't know if you wanted to kind of like know ahead of time to make sure that I didn't like throw anything at you that you didn't want to go into.
No, 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 no problem there. I'm feeling comfortable even if I will not be able to answer any question, your question. I will just, take a note and then go to the guys from, from the product support or product team and, kind of give you an answer to that question a bit later. So it's totally normal. I'm not feeling uncomfortable with not being answering a question or so.
Well,
So
and
it's totally
nothing,
fine.
everything is like super, super simple. Like there's really nothing out of the ordinary, but
All right. All right.
um yeah, you'll have to excuse me. So I'm not a the content creator by trade.
All
Um
right.
I'm just a seller. I don't make videos normally. I've only been doing it for a few months. It was just a lack of people needed information, and I kept giving it out and they kept asking for more. And so I'm still learning how to do.
Nice. It's totally fine. Me neither. I think that it's not about being a content creator. You're a specialist in some field, and everything else is just a way of communication. So
Yeah,
that's no
I'm
problem.
naturally very shy and introverted, so it's very trying to push myself to be in front of the camera at all.
Out, getting yourself out of the comfort zone, just to
Yes,
overcome.
yes, completely.
Nice.
My very first video was like, um, 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 um.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had the same thing. I never did this kind of videos before I started working at Sellerboard. And I never, was anywhere in the video online. And I know had these thoughts: how am I going to look? How am I going to sound? This is going to stay forever in the internet, and what's going to happen after that, and stuff like that. But eventually, so time has passed, a week, a couple of months, demo after demo, and then I even started hosting a podcast for Sellerboard and inviting guests and doing it, live with no edits after all. So my basic rule was, how we start the conversation, and we do the whole conversation and we end it. That's what we did, and this is what we post. So I kind of also started from where you are right now, probably, and
Yeah,
eventually grew to the point when I'm really feeling comfortable. Even if I don't do the right thing or don't say the right thing, it's okay. We're all humans. We make mistakes, so that's no
that's
problem.
fantastic. And I didn't even know that you guys had a podcast, so I'm gonna write it down because
Yeah, yeah. Right now, I think it's on pause because I've been doing. I did, I think, like 7 episodes, 6 or 7 episodes, but definitely check it out. I have some good, really, really interesting guests there. So
okay.
sellers, and I tried always to. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil anything. If you have the interest, just watch
Okay.
the podcast.
Is that Pause?
The how you spell it out?
Uh-huh.
Word? So it's just on YouTube, search Sellerboard Show podcast. That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because we're always looking for just for good things for people to listen to that are headed in the right direction, and like when you're packing boxes and that kind of stuff. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we don't get on topic, we're going to be here all day.
All right, let's move to the topic. I just
All
one
right.
last thing though. I
Yeah.
wanted to say that if you will recommend or listen yourself, you will definitely find some inspiring stories inside the episodes that they did, because I always tried, to reach to that level, underneath all of the information and tips and tricks to how to do that, how to do this, but to dig a little bit deeper and see how people came to this point and how they overcame certain, difficulties when they became sellers and stuff like that. And everyone has a very unique and interesting story. So, and there's a lot of inspiration in that. I'm not a seller, but I was inspired really by some of the stories I know got to do on the podcast.
Yeah, I definitely will check it out because I love those. I love hearing the like, how did you become a seller stories? Because I have one
Yeah.
of those crazy stories also. So like
See?
I love hearing all of those.
See,
Like
I would.
I was a
So,
dementia nurse for years, and
wow,
then I was burned and
wow,
ended up selling leftover medical supplies to feed my children. And it just kind of, as I tried to reinvent myself to take care of my family, it grew into this, and here I
wow.
am. But
That's that's quite a
yeah,
story right there,
it's just crazy how people end up here, because nobody ever like sits in grade school and is like, I want
right?
to grow up and be an Amazon seller. Well,
Right? That's
my
the
children.
yeah.
But
This is exactly the point. I used to ask
yeah,
this every guest. You were not like there's not no school program for this or stuff like that. So you have
yeah,
a background, and at some point you understand that you want to step out of it, or maybe you are forced to step out of it, and then you sit and think what I'm going to do next. And the main thing I like, about these stories is that every seller tries to bring something he learned from his background, some of the experience he,
yeah,
managed to gain, or something he used to achieve certain point of expertise in his domain, and try to transfer it inside the FBA space, into the Amazon space.
yeah.
And it's crazy how it works, because I had, a competitive gymnast that became an FBA seller. I had a guy who only recently exited. He quit his job. He used to work at Microsoft, I think, in some other corporate stuff. So he had a very, very solid corporate background. I had someone that he was an optometrist. So he was a
Okay.
doctor and an
Yeah.
optometrist, and he that's a crazy story. So, and I really enjoyed how to manage. He managed to capitalize on the knowledge and expertise that he managed to gain throughout his practicing years, and build a whole business around it. So it's crazy. I mean, I think that this is really valuable, and also would love to hear your story. But maybe if in the near future, or I don't know, the podcast, but it eventually will be started again, because now it's paused. I will send you invite to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
Just
let's.
you have my information. Let me know. Um,
All right, thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going on a rant like right now. Sorry about that. Let's go back to the topic.
No, you're good. I understand because I'm the same way about things that we have a passion for,
Yeah.
and you can feel the passion, and that is definitely your passion. Um,
Yeah, I just love, talking to people, and finding out what they have to hear, to share. That's
well, and this is part of the reason. So like I could have watched all of the YouTube videos, and I feel like I could have done a very competent review of Sellerboard and helped my community go through and learn how to use the tool, but they would have never gotten a chance to meet you, or really feel like they knew the people that they were going to be working with, and that is um almost just as important as knowing how to use the tool is knowing the people behind the
yeah,
tool.
yeah,
um
agree. Agreed.
So that's the reason to be reaching out to you guys, is so that they can put a face to the tool and know, know who
Yeah.
they're working with.
Thanks, by the way. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate that.
Okay. Okay, so how are we doing this? Are we just opening up?
Yeah, I'll need permission from your side
You
to share
already
this.
you already
Ah,
got it.
okay. All right. All right. So then let's do it. Let's
All
do
right.
it. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I've been recording, so if it's okay with you, I'm probably going to keep some of our conversation just because then they can hear about the podcast from you and
Sure, sure. Of course, keep whatever you want. I'm comfortable with keeping everything, so it's up to you. All right. So we're doing a demo of Sellerboard today, and I'm really excited about it. Thanks again, Ashley, for inviting me. First, I'll start with what Sellerboard is and how potentially it might help you in, from a bird's eye view. Sellerboard is a profit analytics software with a bunch of additional automation tools that can help you, automate some of the processes inside your Amazon business. And I'm going to show you how. But the main value that we bring to the Amazon sellers is the profit analytics part of the software, because as you know better than me, because I'm not an Amazon seller, but having sales is all right. It's, of course, everyone wants to sell, but being profitable with those sales will show you at the end of the day whether you are okay with what you're doing or not. So without further ado, let me get to the tool.
you can sell stuff all day long, but if you're not actually making money, then there's no
Yeah, of course, you're then just making moves and not making money. All right, so this is the profit dashboard. Let's start with this. This tool is something that most of our users use on a daily basis, and we have several layers to it. Imagine Sellerboard as something that is used to analyze the data inside your Amazon account, and you can do it at any levels. So to start, here in the top we have these tiles. We call this the tile view, and the tile view is something that you can use to get a quick glimpse of how well you're performing. For example, today in comparison to yesterday, or this month in comparison to last month, or you can actually select a period you want, because all of these tiles are customizable. So you can select a period you want to display info for. For example, this is today, and let's check out what information we have here. So of course we have the sales, number of orders or units, number of refunds, and by the way, you can see that this number here so today we have had 2 refunds, and this number here is blue. That means that you can click it, it's a link, and if you do, then you will see the details about the refund, so the reasons why the customers return the products, because as you might know, when a customer returns a product, Amazon prompts him to to tell you as a seller why did he return the product. So you can see this here. If for instance we click here, last month we had 56 refunds, and if we click on it, then you will see all the reasons for the refunds that the customer specified. It's actually quite useful. All right, so besides that, we have the general information regarding your advertising costs, if you're doing Amazon advertising on your account, the gross profit, your net profit, the estimated payout. And if you click on more right here, but let's just select another tile so we have larger numbers. By the way, this is a demo account, so the numbers here are just for reference. Let's select last month, for example. I'm going to click on more. First, I'm going to select the tile, and you will see this bar underneath. That means that the tile is selected. And then I'm going to click on more to see a detailed breakdown of how my net profit was calculated for that period. So let's start first the sales, and you have a breakdown of organic sales and sales that you have done through advertising. I mean, sponsored products or sponsored display, whichever type of advertising campaigns you're running. And then you also have a separate bar, let's say here, for the subscription sales, because as you know, the Subscribe and Save program, if you will analyze how that works for you separately, if you are able to do that, then you can understand whether it should be it's worth investing more time and resources in that. So we have that separate right here. And this is only for sales. Then we have a breakdown in units. Of course, the same thing, organic, sponsored, and subscription sales. And if you go down, if you will have any promotions running on Amazon, that the info regarding promo will be shown here. This is something that is divided from subtracted from your sales with the expenses to calculate the net profit overall. But right now we have zero promo because we were not running any promos for this period. But if you will do, you will have some numbers here that will be negative because it's something that you subtract. Then you have your advertising costs, and you have those for, first of all types of advertising on Amazon. So the sponsor products, sponsor brands, sponsor display, and the sponsor brands video, all of these campaigns, their overall spend will be shown here. But besides that, you can also, if you're doing marketing outside of Amazon, like you're advertising on Facebook, on Google, on TikTok, or other advertising platforms, Pinterest, for example, you can connect your advertising accounts to Sellerboard, and Sellerboard will pull the data through API about the advertising costs for each sale that you will make, and will attribute these costs to specific products that are advertised in those campaigns. And in this way, you will have, a complete and you will have a complete understanding of how well you're managing your advertising budgets. Because if you're not only advertising on Amazon, all the other costs have to be taken into consideration also. All right, then you have your shipping costs, all the info regarding that, refund costs. And I strongly suggest, this is just a quick tip, for anyone not paying too much attention to your refunds, please change that habit, because refunds are a major profit killer. And it's a good thing to understand how your refund costs are being calculated, because there are some things that when a refund occurs, and customer asks for reimbursement, there are some things that happen there. So some part of the let's say of the thing that the customer paid for, right? So some of this, a part of this money is returned to you, and a part of this money is not returned to you. So you can see that clearly. For example, refunded referral fee is with a plus. So that means that Amazon refunds the referral fee. The value of returned items, of course, it's a plus because it's your cost of goods. But also an important thing to note here, it's only in the case if the item is sellable, it's returned in sellable condition, because if not, it's a loss. Then you have your FBA shipping chargeback, that's also a plus, and all the other things are not returned by Amazon. So that means FBA, the refund commission, not everyone knows that there's a additional refund commission, pay attention to that, and the shipping, if you have that, so that will be also subtracted. All right, the Amazon fees, all of them that are applied to your specific business model will be displayed here. So you can have an understanding of what's happening there. Then your cost of goods, right? And we have a separate line here for lost and damaged by Amazon, because that also happens. By the way, we have a special tool here, the money back tool. I'm going to talk about it in a second, which can help you potentially get reimbursed by Amazon for products that were your inventory that has been lost or damaged. All right, so then we have the gross profit and the expenses that you're tracking with Sellerboard. And I'm also going to show you how to use the expenses tab, because there is a lot of stuff that you might not be taken into consideration when calculating your profitability, but needs to be taken into account. So we'll definitely dive into that. All of those expenses will be shown here. And in the bottom, you will see the net profit calculated. And some of the metrics that you might find valuable. So your real advertising cost of sales, your percentage of refunds overall for this period, percentage of sellable returns, and stuff like that, your overall margin. All of this information is like, like a quick glimpse at an account level for a specific period. This is something that you can, bring up if you click on more on a specific tile. And down here, we have a detailed view of on the product level, and you can switch to the order level. What this means? This means that when I select this period, last month, then down here, I will see all of the products that have been sold in this specific period, as you can see in the last month. And I can see all the basic information, like the price, the cost of goods for this specific item, my FBA stock, which, by the way, all of these are clickable, and I will show you where they lead. So your cost of goods basically brings up a window where you can input your cost of goods, and the FBA stock will take you to the inventory tab. Sorry about that. You can go to the inventory tab to see those levels, your FBA stock, but if you click on this, you will see a chart that will represent, how your inventory level for this particular SKU evolved over time. So you can see how that worked for you. All right, and then here you have like a spreadsheet where you have different metrics that you might be potentially interested in, and you can edit your columns here by clicking on this button. So you can add whichever metrics you might find important for you. Like, let's say I want to know what were the cost of goods for a specific product sold in this period. So I will just add this column right here, and I will see this value right here. Then the basic values that we have by default are the sales, the advertising costs, the sellable returns, net profit margin, ROI, your bestseller rank also brought up right here. If you hover over it, then you will see the changes for the last 7 days, the average changes in the BSR for each product. And one more important thing that likewise, as I've shown you here, by clicking on more, I can bring up the detailed breakdown for all the metrics that are taken into consideration for profit calculation. I can do the same on a product level. So I just click here next to the product I'm interested in, and now have the same structure. So I'll have the sales of this particular product, the number of units, advertising costs for this product, shipping costs, and all of the other things that are taken into account, the factors that are taken into account for calculating the net profit for this particular unit, for this particular SKU.
Now, do you guys have a report that would that you can like export that would just give you all of that information?
Yeah, we definitely do. So this is this button right here. You can just click it, and you will be able to download all of this info in a spreadsheet, in a CSV file, or an Excel file. This one. You can also download. Yeah, basically for this view right here, it's here. Besides that, you can always group the items inside the spreadsheet by ASIN, by parent. If you have, for example, variations, or you're working in different marketplaces, you can group by per marketplace or by brand and stuff like that, just to simplify your analysis. And what else? So the same with the refunds. Yeah, I already show you the reasons for refunds. Let me then show you that you can see the same info on an order level. So if you click here on order items, you will see these metrics, almost all of them. Let's give it a while to load. Yeah, you can see the order number here. You can see the product that's inside the order, and you can see these metrics. So you can track everything on an order level. And also you can download the report for this one.
Nice. Okay.
All right. So this is the basic view for the tiles, right? For the products. And then we have several more ways in which you can analyze your data. So the second, by the way, sorry, one more thing. You can always use the search bar right here if you are searching for a particular item. Also, you can select a custom period here. Select the marketplace that you want to analyze if you're working in different marketplaces. And by the way, you can also compare. So if you click on this button, you will see, you will see these tiles compared next to each other. So the percentage will show, you know, the deviation, how much a certain value increased or decreased. I think this is pretty much it for the tiles view. Let's switch to the chart view. And this is nothing else than just a graphical representation of the basic metrics that you want to see on an account level shown on this, basically on this chart right here. In the top of this chart, I can see the metrics that are being shown right now on the chart. So the units sold, advertising cost, refunds, net profit. And if I want to change that, I have this configuration button right here. So I can throw any other metric I'm interested in on the chart, right? And then I can just by month see the values for each month and see how they evolved over time. So yeah, so if you're digging into a specific, you know, area of your business or specific question that you want to find the answer for, so this is a good way to see, you know, how things evolved. And on the right, of course, you have to select the period. Right now, it's for this up to this date from the beginning of the month. So it's from 1st to 16th of October 23. The general metrics and the values for them on the right. And down here also the product view that I've shown you previously just a while ago. So this is just a chart view to analyze the dynamics. Then you have the P&L view, which is like a giant spreadsheet with all of the values for all of your metrics, you know, spread out all over your screen. And this is month by month. So this view is really important if you want to analyze on a very top level certain areas of your business and see how certain things evolved. Like, for example, how your let's say how your Amazon fees evolved. Like, this is one of the main costs that you will have in your business. Maybe there has been an increase and you want to dive deep into that to see why that has happened. Or maybe your advertising costs increased, also another big profit killer. So analyze how your advertising costs evolved and try to, you know, go a bit on a level deeper and then deeper and then deeper, and potentially you might find the answer to changing something that will eventually, you know, lower those costs down. But you have to first of all spot the problem and see where you've started and when you are right now. So this is a good way to do it, because you have, you know, month by month all of these values, and of course each of these tabs you can break those down, open them up, pardon. So see the advertising costs, likewise as I've shown you previously, or maybe the Amazon fees. So see how they evolved, how they rised, you know, and maybe decreased over time. So yeah, this is the profit and loss view. Also, coming back to your question, you can download the report. You can download all this P&L in an Excel file also. Then you have the next one is the trends view. So the trends view is a really good way to analyze a specific metric for a specific product and see how it evolved and maybe find the trend. Yeah, so maybe you're interested how the BSR evolved, you know, for a specific product. And so first of all, you choose your metric that you're interested in, and then you have your products on the left, and you see a small chart here, and you can get a quick glimpse of how the metric evolved over time. It's also month by month. Don't mind the numbers here. Also, again, it's a demo account, right. But you know, having the ability to see very fast by product, compare, you know, how your values increased and decreased. You can spot the dives and the peaks and see what's up with that period. By the way, if you click on this chart, you can get you know, zoom in, yeah. So it's really simple. You just pick the metric you're interested in, and then you can also, you know, group, not group, but how do you say it? Not align, but you can sort, right? You can sort out by ascending or descending. Yeah. So your top performers, for example, or your lowest performing products in a specific metric. So Yeah, it depends on the type of analysis that you are trying to do. Yeah, so this is the trends view. And this sums up the profit analytics part, I guess, of the software. Maybe at this point you have any questions, Ashley?
Wow, there is just so much information here. Um, so much more. I mean, I was absolutely overwhelmed with the amount of information when I was digging through this on my own personal account. And that was before you even went through, and there's so much more that I did not even realize was even there. I can't wait to go play with this with my own account now. Because it can do so much more than I actually thought it could. Um, yes.
That's
So
great. I really hope some of this will, help you achieve some results, because it's eventually a tool, but you have to try it, to try, fail, try again, get some of the results, then try again and get better results. So it's up to you. You have to
yeah,
start using the tool.
I love having all of those different reports and being able to really get all of those different numbers. So this is going to be fantastic. Um,
All right. So
um,
if you do have any questions, let's do those. If not, I can go on.
so I don't think I had any most of my questions were really related to yeah, I don't think I had any questions really on this section. I think you kind of got everything. My only question would be on the different columns. When you were
Yeah.
talking about being able to add different sections to that, can you move those columns around? For example, if you want to be able to see a certain section first, like if it was a spreadsheet like column A, column B, can you actually move like sales to the front,
All
or
right.
are they stuck
All
in the
right.
spot?
That's a brilliant idea. And no, we don't have this function yet, but you know what? I'm going to bring up a notepad and write it down. It's a very good idea. So they change the order, right, of the
Yeah,
columns.
because that I know that would make it a lot better for a lot of people. Sometimes they want a lot of data, but they want a few things to be in their primary view, because then
Yeah,
otherwise they have to scroll over to the right. Um,
right.
so I know that's one of those features that's really important to a lot of people.
And I'm pretty sure it's very doable. Thank you for the idea. I want to definitely pass it to the product team. Yeah. All right, I have this written down. Do you have any more product ideas that I can write down?
Um, no, I think that's the only one, is just that that being able to move the column, being able to rearrange the columns in your order has always been a hit with everybody.
Yeah, yeah, this makes perfect sense, and I really like it. Thanks. Um, we'll try to implement it ASAP. All right, then I guess I'll move on. So here, the next tool that we have in the profit, I guess, group of tools, the next one is the PPC dashboard. So the PPC dashboard, it basically does two main things. First of all, it shows you the performance of your PPC campaigns you're running on Amazon. First of all, Sellerboard, when you connect your Sellerboard account to your Seller Central account, then we pull the data regarding the sales and everything that comes with it, and then you have to connect your advertising account to Sellerboard. And once you do that, we'll pull the advertising costs and attribute them to the sales that you had. So when this happens, then you will have, it will take a while depending on the volume of the sales you have. But let me, okay, now I think we've run into a small problem, but I'm going to try and solve it right now. As I see, there is no data loaded up in the PPC dashboard, and I know that this happens sometimes, but let me try and open up another demo account, and maybe we'll get a different result, so I can really show you how the PPC dashboard looks. Okay. Bear with me. All right.
And I can say for people that if you have PPC already set up on your account, when you hook up your account to Sellerboard, it'll just automatically pull everything in. There is no extra steps to do. It just does it all.
Uh, yeah. Thanks, Ashley. Unfortunately, I think that we will not have any data here today in this demo on the PPC dashboard. Sorry about that. Let me just walk you
Here,
through kind of.
I can pull mine up if that helps you. I mean, I have
Uh,
a really junky PPC account set up, but you're welcome to look to show mine if you want.
yeah, sure. If you're comfortable with
Yeah.
sharing that on screen, then let's dive into it.
Yep. I think to go through and here, let me just a second here.
Okay, so while doing this, sharing screen, I'm going to just give you a quick overview. Two main things, as I was saying, the PPC dashboard shows you the performance of your campaigns, and by different metrics that you have, like your advertising cost, your spend, your advertising cost of sales, your CPC, so your cost per click and stuff like that, and you can analyze these campaigns on an account level. So this chart that has no data in it right now, but it will show you day by day the metrics that you are going to bring up on the chart. And as you can see right now, this is the ad spend, profit, and ACOS. But again, clicking the configuration button on the left, you can also see the clicks, conversions, orders, average CPC, PPC sales, and ACOS, and stuff like that, or profit, all on the chart to analyze day by day how these values evolve. Here on the right, you just choose the period for your analysis, and down here you should have your campaigns. So I hope you're going to see Ashley's campaigns and maybe try to analyze a little bit those to see which metrics we have there. But I'm going to say this. For the campaigns, you have the ability to see these values for the metrics, the PPC related metrics, on a campaign level, and then break it down on an ad group level, and then see the same metrics on a keyword level. So you kind of can compare the performance of every keyword in your campaign. And this is the part of being able to analyze your performance, your PPC performance. And the second thing that the PPC dashboard does, it allows you to automate the two areas of your PPC activity. The first one is the bid optimization, and the second one is the keyword optimization. So I'll show you how it works in a campaign, maybe in one of Ashley's campaign, but on a top level. So the bid optimization lets you set up certain rules and set up a target, and you have two options. You can either choose to target a profitability value. So you can say, okay, for this campaign, I want to have a certain margin, right? So then the bids are going to be changed in a way that eventually your campaign is going to reach a certain profitability, a profit margin, right? A certain profitability level. Or you can target a certain advertising cost of sales. There's the second option. Let's say you have current advertising cost of sales, right? And it's a certain level. And then you say, okay, I want to fine tune my bid changing mechanism to stay below this advertising cost of sales, below what I have on the break-even side. Because the break-even ACOS, as you might know, shows you the point at which if you are under the break-even ACOS, you are profitable with your campaign. If you are leveled with your break-even ACOS in your campaign, your ACOS is equal to the break-even ACOS, then you're at zero. You're advertising, you're getting exposure, you're getting clicks and sales, but you're not making too much profit because you're spending on advertising as much as you are getting from sales. And if you go above your break-even ACOS with your ACOS level for this campaign, then you will be spending more actually than you are earning with these advertising campaigns. And there are specific, let's say scenarios when you want one of these things to happen. If you are launching a new product into the market and you want to get it out there in front of the customers, and you really want to start making sales and get some traction on your listing, then a good idea would be to set your target ACOS above your break-even ACOS, just to have, to start getting those sales and even get some organic traction, because one is linked to the other. When you have, this PPC traction, then the organic sales will follow. And when the product spends some time in the market and you have already generated some sales, generated reviews, and some credibility with the product, then you might just level your target ACOS in the bid optimization mechanism to your break-even ACOS, and then you will just support your sales, your organic sales. So basically, your PPC side of sales will not be making too much profit, but your organic sales that will follow the PPC activity will be making the sales. So this is kind of a second scenario when you've already spent some time in the market. And the last scenario, when you have very good positions in organic listings, and maybe your campaigns are doing really well, then you want to keep your target ACOS as low as possible in comparison to your break-even ACOS, because this difference will be basically your margin. So this is how much profit you'll be generating with your campaigns. 3 different scenarios. You can set up any of these with the optimization mechanism. And the second thing is the keyword optimization. So there are 2 things that you can do. First of all, you can detect the poorly performing keywords and set up some rules. And if the keywords will, fall into certain criteria, then they will be moved to negative. So you will stop losing money on some keywords that don't work for you. And the second thing, if you are doing keyword harvesting, meaning that if you have automated campaigns running on your Amazon account, just to gather the keywords that have some traction, then you can use Sellerboard to detect those keywords that perform well from those campaigns and move them to the campaigns that are doing the actual advertising. So by setting up some rules also. So yeah, this is basically everything that the PPC dashboard does. The only thing left is to show you how to set it up if we have access to your PPC account.
Okay. So I went and pulled mine up. Otherwise, I can also go through, and in the chat, I can just give you the logins to mine, if that.
Maybe I can, if you will just share your screen, I will try to guide you in order to show you,
Yep.
to show you some stuff.
Yeah. So I have my screen shared.
Okay, I'll pause sharing my screen now. Okay, but the problem is that I don't see your screen now.
Oh, hold on. Let's try stopping, and then we'll restart it.
Right.
Oh.
All right, I can see it now. Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so
and PPC has always been terrible for me. So these are just literally, I threw them up probably 6 months ago and then forgot about them. And so I don't even know what they're doing or what is involved in them.
Got it. All right. So let's first of all choose a period that we are going to analyze, right? So you can do that. You have the 4th of October, 23 in the top right. It's a blue rectangle in the top right.
Oh.
Yeah, the 4th of October. If you click on that, it's a filter. No worries. It's going to load up some different data.
Sorry, guys.
Maybe you can, no. Maybe you can try and go back. All right. Yeah, so as I was saying, the 16th September and 16th October, all right, this makes sense. Now this is the period that it is selected. And from what I see, you have just some minor ad spend there. And probably these campaigns aren't doing much right now. But let's scroll down a little bit. As you can see on the chart, basically, you have three metrics displayed on the chart right now. So it's ad spend, profit, and ACOS. And all of them, since you don't have too much activity, this is perfectly reflected in the fact that the values are not very impressive. But both of your campaigns are down there. So if you click on the next on the left of you, the name of the campaign, so it's if you click here, then you can see your ad group. And if you click again, you will see your keywords inside.
Click here.
I think that this is the ad group. Yeah, this is the ad group, but why didn't it show the keywords? Let's try the second campaign. Okay, maybe because you only have one keyword inside.
Yeah, like I said, because I had no idea what I was doing when I set this up, so there probably even isn't any. So one of my questions for you guys was going to be, do you have videos to help walk people through how to set up PPC campaigns?
On Amazon? No, that we don't actually have, because it's a process that you do in your Seller Central account, and you cannot set up a campaign from Sellerboard. Unfortunately, you can only set up some mechanisms to optimize that. So as you can see, the first campaign is actually active right now. You can see the status column, the first column, and the second one is not active. Then you can see the metrics. So you had 4 clicks on your first campaign, and you've spent as much as 21 cents on it. So your cost per click is 5 cents here. Yeah, so right now, I want to show you guys how you can set up the automation, but I can't actually see the keywords, and this is something strange, because all right, but it doesn't matter. If you will try and scroll to the right, just pull all of the columns a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah,
that's cool.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, but your idea is even better. If the columns can be moved around, it would be also very good. All right, so on the right, you have the actions, 3 dots, the actions column. If you click that, yeah, on the 3 dots, yeah. Or is it not clickable for some reason?
No.
What about more? Okay, this one is good. Okay, so I'm actually a bit confused now, because you have to be able to click on the actions button, and 3 dots right there is the button, in order to show you the automation options. Please go ahead and close this window. Yeah, all right.
The whole window?
And no, not the window, the pop-up. Sorry about that, the pop-up. Yeah. So if you click on these actions, 3 dots right there, that would be the button to bring up the pop-up with the automation settings for the PPC, the bids and the keywords. I'm not really understanding why they're not not loading up. All right, so let's do it.
Well could be because there's at least one, like I said,
one of your campaigns is active. Yeah, one of your campaigns is active, and you even spent 21 cents.
Yeah, so something is active in there, but it very well could be that product then sold after this was spent.
Maybe, but nevertheless, I think that you should have the option, to choose these settings for automation. That's really strange. All right, so let's leave the automation PPC, the PPC automation for aside for now, and I'll move on to the next modules. And maybe in the meantime, my PPC account will be available with the numbers. I'll share my screen again.
Okay,
If
that
you're
works.
okay with that.
Yeah,
All right.
because mine is a hot mess.
Mine is too. As you can see, it has no numbers in it. It's even worse than yours. So I guess we're not doing much PPC today.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. So the next tab right here on the left, as you can see. By the way, can you see my screen?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you can see it, right?
Yep. Yep. I got it.
All right. Good. As I was saying, on the left, next tab, it's the products tab. This is one of the basic things that you must do immediately after connecting the Sellerboard account to your Amazon account, because when you have your data regarding the sales and all the fees and everything pulled from the Amazon, the next thing you need to do is input your cost of goods in order to make the basic profit calculations. So there are several methods to do this, and you can do this in this tab, in the products tab, where you have all of your products listed, and you have your cost of goods over here. So if you click on it, by the way, next column, the COGS type, cost of goods input type, you have the basic, just a second. Now, all right, so my drop-down menus are not working now. I'll have to reload the page. Something strange is happening today. Sorry guys about that.
Monday.
Right. Nope. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you that this drop-down menu contains two items. So the first one is the constant, the ability to enter your cost of goods as a constant. So it looks like this. First of all, you choose how you want to enter your cost of goods. And a constant means that, for instance, if you've received a batch of products today, right, and you've uploaded it, all of the data, you've sent it, the batch of products to the FBA warehouse, and they received it, and blah, 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 everything is done, then you have a cost of goods that you input as a constant. And when you run out of products for this item, next time when you will receive a shipment with a different cost of goods, if it will be different, let's say it won't be $1.04 for a unit, but it will be $1.50 for a unit. And if you will keep it as constant, this cost of goods, and just switch the value, then all of your profit calculations will be redone retrospectively.
Okay.
Because the value of your cost of goods is unique, it's constant for all periods. And to avoid that, in order to have a healthy profit history to see how well you were performing in the previous periods and compare on how well you're performing now, you need to choose the by period batch method. And I'm going to show you how it's done. So if you click here on your cost of goods, then you will see a pop-up window, and luckily it opens up and you see two different batches of prices. So this one down here is the first batch of prices. This means that when I have received my first batch of products for this item, and it was put into marketplace on the 29th of April, this representation is in European style, and I know you guys kind of read it vice versa. The month goes first and
April
the date
29th.
goes second.
Yeah.
So and you specify the period for which this price, your cost of goods, was active and valid, let's say. And then you have all of your cost elements. So it might be separately manufacturing, your shipping, any additional fees that you might have regarding ordering these products and getting them to the FBA warehouse. And you have the amount that you input and the number of units. So this is, for example, 65 cents per unit. And you can, for instance, you can do differently. You can input the price for the whole batch and then specify the number of units like C you have here, and Sellerboard will do the math. So eventually everything adds up to this value right here. This is the cost of goods per unit, right? And when you have a new batch of products with a different cost of goods you want to input, you just press this button here, add new period, and you will see another batch that you will input. So starting from starting date and up to, for instance, forever until the next batch arrives, whenever it will come, you will have maybe same or different cost elements and different values here. So eventually your cost of good per unit will be different here. And Sellerboard will treat your the history of your profit calculations according to the cost of goods value that you had in that period, if that makes sense.
Yep.
All right. So one more thing I wanted to show you. Yeah, sorry, I want to probably switch to another account.
Yeah.
Because
a question on that while you're switching.
sure.
Now, if you accidentally have it marked as constant, and then you end up having to, for example, switch suppliers, and so then you do need to switch it to by period batch because you realize your prices are going to be changing. Is there any issue with that other than you'll have to manually enter in the prices just when you switch over?
No issue with that. If you have the price history and you can create, the batches again, so for different periods,
Right,
there's
you'll
no
just
problem.
have to go through and figure out the old price history and and just enter everything in when you switch it over. Right?
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
great.
So no problem with that. Okay, sorry, I need to get a password for this. I'll stop sharing my screen for a second here, if you don't mind. All right, I need to get a password to enter the account where I can change the values, sorry. So I can show you how everything works there. Okay, so I think I'm ready. Going back live now. Yeah, okay.
All right,
I'm back.
gotcha.
So as I was saying, we were in the products tab and I was showing you how you can set up by your cost of goods by period and batch. Yeah, this was the root of the problem. So now this works. Going back to the pop-up window where you can set up your different price batches for different periods. One more thing I wanted to show you is this checkbox right here. So imagine a situation when you just received or just sent to the FBA warehouse a new batch of products with a different cost of goods, but you still have a remainder of the products from the previous price batch, right? So yeah, and the costs are different. So what you do then, you just check this box and you tell Sellerboard how many units are there left from the previous batch, let's say 150 units, and how many units you have in the new batch that will arrive right now. And what Sellerboard will do, it will take the difference in your cost of goods and the difference in the value and calculate it an average and weighted average. So this will be taken into account whenever you will, sell the remainder of the stock for that period. Yeah, this is a way to optimize the accuracy. Yeah.
And does it sell like the most expensive ones first or the cheaper ones first, or
no there is actually
averages it and
it will average, and the reason for that is because you do not know, neither do we, when doing the sale Amazon will pick the items from which batch. And so, in order there is actually a method in logistics that's called first in, first out, the FIFO method, that solves this problem. But we don't have a mechanism from the Amazon side, as we pull the data from Amazon, to track each order and see which one is attributed to which sale. For instance, you might have a product from the old batch that will be sold, 2 months later after you receive a new batch and sell some stuff from the new batch, but we don't know. So this is why we kind of calculate the average to level this out. and do as much as we can, to optimize the accuracy of the calculations.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, this really gives people really good control over knowing their numbers. And
This is the main idea. Yeah, this is the main idea, and there's some layers to it, and if you try to get into the nits and grits of the stuff behind the calculations, then you can fine tune, and eventually your Sellerboard account will give you a really maybe not 100%, but a really close to the real situation picture, and you can be pretty much confident in everything that's happening inside, because there are a lot of things to be taken into account, and all of these small details make all the difference.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But this kind of stuff only works if you have to go through and fill in the numbers, or this doesn't work. I'm just saying that for all of my people who don't fill in the data correctly or skip days. You have to fill in the data, or it's
Yeah,
not going to give you the correct picture.
exactly. But I'll be going over the inventory module, and we have a lot of tools there that will help you have a healthy inventory, and it's also linked to entering a lot of data just to keep everything up to date. But we've also developed some mechanisms to help sellers with that. But I wanted to make the point that you eventually have to make this a part of your routine if you want to get have a clear picture constantly and really understand where you're standing in terms of profitability. So yeah, it takes a bit of time, but yeah, eventually you get the results. All right, let's move forward. I'm going to close this pop-up window now, and okay, so what else is there in the products tab? You can assign tags to your products. Maybe you have your own logic of grouping things. Then you can do it with the tag system, and then search for certain tags in the Sellerboard throughout the software, and you will have your tags brought up. Then
I had a
if you
question on tags.
Yeah, sure.
So how do you add tags, and can you add like supplier tags? So there's a way to like search by supplier. Okay.
Search by supplier.
Like for example, can you like is there a limit on how many tags you can add? Like could you just, for example, add a Walmart tag, a Target tag, Office Depot tag, because then you could filter your products by
I'm doing
supplier.
this right now. So there's no limit to this.
Okay.
You can create new tags, and this is really a good idea to tag your products by the supplier. And this is simple. You just open up this and you enter whichever tag you want. So for this
And that
product,
helps people also track where they purchased that product from, which was
yeah,
one of my questions, was how do you keep track of, was there a spot in your inventory area to be, where did you purchase that product from? But then this also would give people a way to say, okay, hey, I'm going to, a lot of our community will actually purchase products in store. So, hey, I'm going to this store. Are there any items that I want to purchase from this store? Well, they can search all of their Walmart tags, see what products they purchased from there. And then,
yeah, that makes perfect sense. And by the way, you can I like the idea. You can go to your dashboard here. Let's leave this products tab for a second and go back to the dashboard. And you can select a period for like last month, right? And you can do a search by tags. Like imagine I would have
that was part of the reason I was wondering about tags, was because
yeah,
you could search by tag.
exactly. So
Yep.
let's say I would have the products that I bought from Target labeled as Target, and then I would see all of the performance in sales, and I could see what actually sold last month, and I would be able to see the numbers. So what is worth, buying again. And I would also see my FBA stock right here. So I would see, where I'm running low on stock with which of the products. This makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Now,
You can do
one
it this way.
other to go on track, but kind of off track. And you may want to cover it later, but talking about importing product cost of goods, because if people are going to be moving over, that's going to be a big issue. Is there a way to add a column to that import file that you guys provide that would automatically create those tags?
Okay.
Because a lot of us already have, like, for example, I'm coming over to you guys from Inventory Lab. So I already have my supplier information. And if I could just add a column to my import sheet that would create those tags, then as I'm importing my cost of goods onto that sheet, I could add a column for those tags and upload all at once, and it would tag my products, import my cost of goods, and bam, all at once, I'm in and I'm up and running.
I don't think we have this.
Okay.
So so this is another thing I've just added to my small notepad full of ideas for product improvement, but it also makes perfect sense. You're perfectly right. I mean, if you already know how you're working with the tag system, then it would not be a problem at all to add a column, to a spreadsheet and import that as well.
I'm just looking at the easiest way for people to move their information over.
Yeah, this is brilliant. But there could be another thing that I might not be aware of this. But from what I know now, I think that we do not have such a feature. But I'll surely clear that out, and I will, give you a response.
Okay.
Whether it will be a response like, actually, we have that, and this is how it's done, and you can share that with your community, or it will be, no, actually, we don't have that, but we are definitely going to implement that, and thank you for the idea. So one of the two.
Okay. Yeah. Let me.
All right. So what else is here? Also, if you're doing FBM, you can add your shipping costs, FBM shipping costs here. I guess, one last thing, you can hide some products you don't want to see in your Sellerboard account. You can, as Ashley mentioned, you can import in bulk your products. Just use the template that we provide and arrange everything inside this file, this spreadsheet, in order to Sellerboard to understand which values are where. And
this automatically pulls all of your products from your product history from Amazon. Correct. And like all of your old history. Now, if you import a file into this twice, will it automatically like realize, well, there's a copy of this, and then just update that copy, or will it make two of the same listing? Like, will it show the data twice?
No, it will not be able to show the data twice, because you only have, your ASIN, your SKU as a unique item, in the database. It will not be, it will just use the latest value uploaded.
Okay.
So it will override whichever data was before.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess this is pretty much everything for the product step. Again, the search bar, you can use that, to find anything you're interested in. The expenses tab. Let's move to this. By the way, Ashley, are you using the expenses module?
I have not yet. The only thing I was looking at this morning, I'm still in the process of trying to move over all of my cost of goods and get that all, kind of get everything up and running before I really dug into it deeply, because without having your costs in there, you can't really see what's happening.
Of course.
So that's kind of where I was at, was updating on my own personal, was getting my cost of goods in there, and then kind of just quickly looking over everything to make sure that if there was anything that I needed to know um, for the community, that I had that.
Hmm. Yeah, all right. Then I hope that this will be also useful for you as well as for the other members.
It's
Uh,
gonna be great. Now the only thing that I was wondering is I keep I've seen that you guys have talked about creating the ability to create shipments in the
yeah,
future, but it's not out yet.
not yet.
Um, is there any idea when that might happen? Is where are you at with that? Because I mean, this is absolutely amazing, and that's the only part of this that's like missing.
Yeah, yeah, I
Um,
know. So uh, the initial dates were late September, but we had additional tests. Let's say it's an important feature that we really want to roll out and be sure 100% that we have tested everything to the point when we are, providing a working tool to our community as well. So this is why, like, we pushed back the release date in order to make sure that it will be 100% workable. So from what I know now, I haven't checked on with the product team yet, but from what I know now, it might be as late as early November.
oh, so it's close to being
It's really close. It
okay.
was it
Okay.
was planned to be late September, but I know that an additional step, of test has been implemented, and I think that, yeah, early November is a very real date now, because there has not been, there has not been any problems in the production, but we need to just to test it more. That's the idea.
That is amazingly exciting. So I was afraid that it was still like a thought in the sky. We're working on it.
No,
I didn't
no.
realize it was so close to being because my thought with you guys was, well, I mean, back in the day, like I always had to do my shipments through Amazon. I can just go back to doing that. My, I'll just go back to doing that, but having good solid numbers and really thorough numbers to base my business on is the most important thing. I, that's more
Yeah.
important to me than anything else. So I can do this and I can just use Amazon to send my products in. Um, but the fact that it's so close is
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
exciting.
It is. We've started, analyzing this possibility in the beginning of the year, and then we released the update to the inventory module in the beginning of 2023, and we've seen a very good response from the community, and really understood at that point that we really need to, do the extra thing and introduce this shipment creation tool, because this is the link that's missing. And yeah, as I said, we planned to roll it out in September, but yeah, it's gonna be out pretty soon. So I'll have you updated on that,
Yes, yes, please do. Now, will that be
of
something
course.
like your guys's repricer, that it's a like a separate cost and an additional feature, or will that be just part of everything that you guys do?
As well as pricing goes, I don't really think that we are going to have a separate or additional cost for that. We'll definitely be running for the first few months. This in the basic package that you have with Sellerboard. So I really don't think that we are going to charge additionally for that. But I know that in 2024, considering the fact that there are some changes in the market and the software is growing, we might rethink that. But in the beginning, at the start, I'm pretty positive that it will be available to everybody for as part of their package.
You guys usually grandfather your pricing, or do you? I'm just wondering, like, if people get in now, then will they kind of be, is there a chance that they would be locked in at this price, or? I know it's a lot
Um,
to.
mhm. No, we usually, from what I know, because I'm working with Sellerboard for like what, like a year and a half or something like that, maybe 2 years. We haven't changed prices from that point. So,
Okay, so
and
oh yeah. So we'll just wait and
yeah,
see what happens. But yeah, that's really, really exciting.
let me tell you this. As a marketer, as the one of the people responsible for marketing here at Sellerboard, our vision is to give as much as possible, as many tools as possible, as much value, let's say, or working, material as possible to the sellers for the lowest possible price. Because, there are a lot of there's a lot of software, a lot of tools out there with a really higher price, but it comes to a point when sellers just can't afford it, or it's too it's too complex for them to use, and we want to give the basic stuff to everyone so they can really first of all have their numbers correct, and then try to automate some of the stuff in their business. Why not? So this is why you'll see like Sellerboard like for 50 months, $50 a month, and we have some tools that are also available in other software, but for much higher prices. So we'll try our best to keep the prices low. This is my point.
Yeah, I was shocked that it was such an affordable tool, and it seems like lately the trend has just been to grab as much money from sellers as possible. And I like that you guys are doing this and offering so many tools for such an affordable price. Because not all sellers are making 7 or 8 figures
Sure,
a
of
year.
course.
There's so many of us that are just working from our homes and prepping products in a spare bedroom and really just don't have the funds for that, but we still need to know what's going on with our businesses.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
this is exactly the point from which Sellerboard started, because one of the founders was in the same position. So he was, like doing a corporate job and started selling on the side. And at some point, being a developer himself, he understood that, he doesn't really understand the dynamics inside the business. And he, at some point, didn't know whether he's making money or not. So this is where the idea came from. So
yeah.
he's really, how do you say it? He has empathy for the sellers that are at this level. So yeah,
Just trying to make something to help out the people in his same
yeah.
situation. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So now that we've got the pricing out of the way, let's move further. The expenses tab. Yeah. So the expenses tab is a place where you can keep track of all your expenses that you have outside of Amazon, and there are a lot of things that you can spend money on. So, for example, let's say you have your software subscription, right? Like Sellerboard or other software that you're using, and you need to keep track of that. Let's say you have some services that you are using, like accounting services, or I don't know, designers that help you with the listings, or any other virtual assistants, or maybe any other stuff that you need to keep track of. Maybe you have a warehouse you rent, or any other space, or an office that you rent, or let's say you are doing photo shoots for your products or not, maybe anything else. So basically any type of expense that you need to take into account to really include them in the profit calculations, but they are outside of Amazon and Amazon isn't aware of them, you can keep track of them here.
Yeah.
So, and maybe if you are also doing FBM, I know that there's a lot of stuff related to, packing and labeling the products. All of that stuff can also be tracked here. So let me show you how you do it. Over here, I already have a lot of examples. Every demo I create an expense. And what you can see here, so when it occurs, what type of expense it is, the name of the expense, the category that it falls in, whether it's an additional advertising cost or not, and the product, if the expense is attributed to a certain product or not, the marketplace where it's valid, and the amount. But let me just create one so we can go step by step. Let's say, for example, which expense do you want to track? Let me write it down.
Let's put in. Oh, you can put me on the spot.
Okay, I can do mine. I can do one of mine's. I'm not a seller, I just have templates, you know, when I do these demos, I have some templates in my head and I can use whatever I have prepared if I put you on the spot for it. Sorry for that.
No, you're fine. I'm trying to think of one of my, what about a prep center cost?
Sure. All right. So you're using a prep center, right?
Yep.
And then how are you charged by the prep center? I mean,
So I guess prep center fees really wouldn't work this way, but for example, we'll just put it under here just for.
All right. So
because prep center fees would probably go per unit.
Per unit, yes.
But
so you can if you are tracking, you know, your prep center fees, and you can actually try and do this. If you're entering your prep center cost per unit, right? So you probably, when you pay all of those fees, right, you can pull the info regarding the units, right, that you were charged for.
They would go under that other when you were doing your cost of goods. You would add your prep center charge along with
would be
cost of goods.
that would be definitely a better place to enter that.
Yeah. Okay, what about internet charge?
Yeah, a simple thing. Let's do that. Internet charge. You're spending as we speak.
Yep. So mine at home is $100 a month.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys pay, but mine is $100.
Back home where I'm from, I'm paying something like $15. Stuff like that. That's a lot. That's a lot. $100 per month. Okay, so that means if you're paying per month, it's a monthly payment, right? So I'm going to go ahead and select monthly, right? And I can even enter a date where I'm starting. You know, for example, you can do it also retrospectively. You can start taking this into account, you know, from the beginning of the year, or when you've just when you want. I can go and let's say January 1st, 23. So I know that I've been using the internet since then, and then it will roll up until forever until I tell it to stop. And let's imagine the fact that I've used the January 1st, right? That means that right now with these settings on each, since it's a monthly expense, on each date of first, or each month, I will have $100 subtracted as an expense from my profits, right? But this is a large value. This is a lot, $100, right? Or it can be even more, like $1,000 for rent or for some services, I don't know. And on that specific day, it will mess up your profit calculations if you keep it this way, because it's a large sum that will be subtracted from your profits. So in order not to, you know, spoil the view of how well you're performing, you can amortize this expense. So this means that this $100 will be divided into the number of days in this particular month, and only this portion for the daily expense will be shown on this specific day. So you can really understand this internet charge from the whole list of expenses that you have and fees and everything, what proportion it takes from the profit that you've made in this specific day.
That's awesome. Now, does it give you, is there any way that it shows you once you added all these fees, you can see like, this is how much my expenses are for the daily?
Yes. So once you do that, let's say let's finish setting this up. So it's internet charge. I've started doing this like since January 1st, 23. I'm going to amortize that. This is not an advertising expense, but if it would be, let's say that as you might know or not, Amazon only grants you access to your advertising costs history. I think it's 6 months, or if you go back further than 6 months, you won't be able to pull your advertising cost history. So, but if you have that data previously stored, you can actually upload it here as an expense and just check this box, and Sellerboard will move it to the respective category, and then it will be also included in the calculations. Or maybe you have any other types of advertising costs outside of Amazon that you want to include. Just this checkbox, what it does, it moves this cost from the expenses tab to the advertising costs tab. This is it.
Okay.
Then you can select a category. You can create one or choose one, just for navigation purposes. And you can actually attribute a specific cost to a product or group of products. Let's say, I don't know, you've been using a certain type of packaging only for specific products. So you're going to select all of them, and then these expenses will be attributed only to specific products. So it will affect the calculation, the profit calculation for this specific products.
Yeah, if you have to order like specific bubble wrap and boxes for only shipping these boxes, then you can actually make sure that you are going to be profitable on those packaging.
Exactly. And these costs that you are having are not affecting the profitability of other products.
And with those categories, it would be fantastic for you to I'm just talking to my people also,
Sure.
is to because you said you can add categories in there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So,
because then you could add a tax exempt category and make sure whenever you're adding items that you know that you're going to be wanting to file on your taxes as business expenses, then you could mark them that way as well, and they would be very easy to pull up.
nice. I like this. Yeah, of course. So, all right, what else is here? The categories out of the way, assigning cost to specific products out of the way. Then, of course, you can select a marketplace. Maybe if you're working on several marketplaces, you can have different types of expenses. Let's go ahead and save this, the internet charge. And I will go back to your question regarding the where it is displayed. Let's give it a while to load.
Yeah, because I know for myself personally, it would be great to be able to see, well, I have, $3,000 in business expenses each month. So I need to, I have $100 worth of fees right off the top. Because it never comes out that clean.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm getting some really big load times. Maybe my internet connection here is something to blame. Let me reload this page. Okay, we have it. Here it is, the internet charge, something that we've just added. Going back to your question, I'll switch to the profit dashboard and check whether it will show up in there or not, but I hope it will. It should. Okay, so let's check today. More expenses, new category. Okay, so I have a category that I've just created with the internet charge, and it shows the whole category here rather than just the internet charge.
Okay.
So you have a category, and this particular expense is attributed to a category, then you will have the whole category brought up right here.
Okay.
So let's check last month. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the same thing, new category. You can see it here.
Yep.
$200. And it's only $100 monthly. Why do I have 200 here? I guess because we have first and because of the dates. So anyway, I'll want to try something. I want to remove the category now to see if the expense has no category at all. By the way, I'm getting now I see why it is. While it was loading, I think it saved it 2 times. So
Oh,
this is
yeah.
why it double charged me for 1 month. But what I want to do actually, I'm going to delete one. Delete expense, this expense, right? I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to edit the second one, and I hope it will not load on me. All right. Okay. I want to delete this category here. Okay, but it won't. I can switch, but I cannot delete it for some reason. But I'm guessing if I have only, if I have no category, like here, then in the expenses tab, only this subscription item will show up rather than the category. So if you don't have a whole category, then you only have the separate expenses. Okay, so I guess we're done here. You can also actually use an import button to import your expenses. There's also a template that you should follow in arranging the data inside your CSV file. And we will put everything in place. Let's move further. The lifetime value dashboard. So the lifetime value dashboard is actually a dashboard that shows you if you have some products that customers buy in more than one piece or more than once, or make more than one order from you. And what this helps you do is actually understand how to plan your marketing efforts. So I know that this might not be relevant for all of you, but if you are doing some marketing efforts, and you, for instance, let's imagine a product where this would be applicable. Let's say you have you're selling glasses, right? You're selling glasses in boxes of 2, and if I'm a customer and I want to buy glasses for my kitchen, then I would most likely want more than 2 glasses, because there are more people in my family, and I would like 2 boxes of glasses, right? So I would buy 2 items at once in an order. And in this in this lifetime value dashboard, I have the accumulated sales per buyer or accumulated sales per buyer in units. This is in value and this is in units. So if I'll click on this, then I will immediately see the products here that are bought more than once in a specific period. So I can see that this particular SKU in the last 3 months, it was bought 2.5 on average, 2.5 times by a single buyer. So if this would be the glasses example that I've shown you here, this would make perfect sense, because most of the customers would buy several boxes of the same product. And retrospectively, I see that this value is only growing. So on average, in the last 2 years, it was 126. Then it decreased a little bit in the last year, and then started growing. So this is a really a thing that's happening. Customers are buying more than 1 unit of this product. So from a marketing side, what I can do here, if the customers show interest in buying more than 1 product, then I can go for a deal. Let's say I can go for a discounted 3rd unit, or maybe I can do a bundle where I have 2 units and something added to it. So it's like a bundle that will satisfy the necessities of the customer having 2 units of this product, and I will give them an additional value, and they will be more likely, to pick my offer from the competitors.
Right.
And this dashboard can show you exactly which products trigger this customer behavior. So the next one is the Cashflow tab. Here you can kind of plan out and foresee how the cash is going to enter and exit your business, and in terms of payouts, investments, expenses, purchasing of goods, some really large sums, dividends that you want to pull out of the business. So this is a very top level thing that you want to probably try and use if it will work out for you. I know that not a whole lot of users do it because it takes a certain level of implication to plan things out. But if you do, it's a really simple way to kind of graphically see where you're standing in terms of all of these categories of channels of cash coming in and going out of your business. So it's basically something that will be presented here by period. Yeah, and the reports. I know that Ashley, you said that you like reports. Here's a whole bunch of different reports that you can play around with. Yeah, so I'm not going to read aloud all of these. You can check them out here. Yeah. Let's move on to the inventory tab. I know that you've been interested in learning how things work here. Yeah, my first question: do you use it? Do you use the inventory planner?
So when I was looking through originally, when I was looking for inventory, I was going to products. So I wasn't even going to the right area.
All right.
And then I did find the inventory planner. And then, yeah, I wasn't, because I'm more of I'm just gonna go into an software and just kind of start slamming buttons and see how things work before I originally go to YouTube and watch the demo videos like I should.
Same here. I also have a problem with patience. Why learn all of that when you can see the results through trial and error?
Yeah.
I like doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So let me get a little bit into theoretical part of the inventory planner and the other tools in the inventory module. So the inventory planner does 2 main things. Again, the first one, it can up here in the tiles that you see gives you a general impression of basically where you're standing in terms of your stock, where your money is. So you have your FBA stock here. The units that are reserved, that means that they're in the FBA warehouse and planned to be sold. So you have already orders for them. They're not available for sale because they were already, ordered by someone, not yet fulfilled. These are ones that are sent to FBA, are on the way there. The prep center, so your prep stock over here. The units that you have ordered are here, and your total valuation of your stock in terms of cost of goods. And then you have pretty simple calculations, your potential sales for each of the items I just named, and your potential profit that you might be making on every channel where you have your stock. And then the fun part over here, you have a list of your products in your from all of your catalog. And then you have your FBA stock. Let's go through the basic things you have in here. As I've showed you previously, in the products view on the profit dashboard, you have your history on a graphical representation or graphical chart here, how your stock evolved for this particular item. Then you have your current stock value for this item, and these 2 columns that are in color are the most fun part, but I'm going to get there in a second. So you have your sent to FBA, your prep center stock value here, and your ordered value here. This is something that you must input. Coming back to the discussion that you need to enter some data in order to have everything calculated and taken into account. So this is how it works. Fortunately, we have some mechanisms to make this process a little bit easier than just going and inputting these values by hand. I'm going to show you. I don't know actually. This is I know that this is more applicable and easier for the private label sellers, but I know that also some of the people that are doing arbitrage are also practicing this stuff. Just I haven't seen how, but I know that they're doing it. So you have your prep center stock where you enter your values, your ordered values, and then you have your recommended quantity for reordering, some of the calculations that Sellerboard does and will show you. I'm going to talk about that. But the main thing is this column and this column. So days of stock left, Sellerboard will calculate how many days you still have of stock. So in order to understand when you will run out of stock, and the days until next order. This is also interesting because you understand when you should order more products and you will prepare for that. So in order to calculate the values in these two columns, you need to input some of the data to Sellerboard so you can make these calculations. And another thing that Sellerboard will use in this forecast, these projected calculations, Sellerboard will use a thing called sales velocity. So this is how many units you are selling per day, right? So this is something that Sellerboard calculates retrospectively. And in order to have these numbers calculated and also to input additional info for Sellerboard to give you days of stock left and give you days until next order, you can click on sales velocity here, right? And input the main things. So the first thing that you will see here is is linked to the sales velocity, actually to this value. This pop-up window that is brought up shows you which adjustments you can make to the forecast calculations, because Sellerboard looks at your past sales, and if you know that you have different periods in your sales history that are more relevant than others, let's say for a particular product you were out of stock for a period of time, right? And then you had some extraordinary things that affected your sales, you can adjust this forecast and the calculations by changing this weight value. Let's say I know that the most relevant sales history for this product is the last 3 days for this period. So I'm giving a weight of 60, or you can say 60% or just 60 to this particular period. Then my previous 7 days of sales history is also relevant, maybe less than the first one, than the most recent. I'm going to give it an importance or weight of only 20%, right? And the last 30 days also were quite relevant. I'm going to give them 10% of relevance. But something that is happening in the sales half a year or 62 months ago, or half a year ago, it's not relevant at all. Let's say this is 0. And I'm going to add here also 20 because it must add up to 1, So in this way, I can adjust, the importance of different periods of time in my sales history, because maybe as a seller, I know something that Sellerboard needs to know, so maybe something happened, or maybe I ran out of stock. So the calculations will be more accurate. This is the way to do it.
Like if in the last 60 days, the first 30 days, it had a suppressed buy box. And then
exactly.
for this last 30 days, it has a current buy box and you're expecting it to, and you want to forecast those sales with the buy box continuing, you can give less of a preference to those first 30 days and more to the last 30 days so that it predicts sales with that buy box and kind of ignores the when it had a suppressed buy box.
Yeah, perfect
Okay.
example.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So this is just a way to make your calculations, your forecast more accurate. And the next thing that you can play around with is the seasonality, chart. If you have a seasonal product, you can, organize your seasonality here. Let's say, I don't know, from what I see here, I have something that I have a product that spikes in August, then goes back to September and slowly goes down in October, November. So like it's something that, I don't know, maybe it's back to school, I guess, or stuff like that. So
Okay.
it kind of goes up and then falls back down. So anyway, let's change it. Let's change it just to see how it works. If we have, let's imagine a winter product, I don't know, some
That would be great for all these Christmas products coming up, like candy canes and all
yeah,
this Christmas candy, or even meltable products for FBA that are only
yeah.
October through April.
Yeah, so I guess this is a good way to do it, right? So, and then probably in April it will go down to a normal value, and in May it will not be relevant at all. And in August, let's say it won't have any sales at all, or maybe, I don't know, just 0.1. September, it will start going up, but you get the idea. So, I mean, this is a way really to kind of take that also into account. Let's say 1.4, just to make a pretty picture. Yeah, so something like this. This is an LT factor. And one last thing that you can also take into account is the projected monthly growth. Let's say that from your sales history that as a business as a whole, you're organically growing, by some percentage per month. I don't know, 3%, 5%. And you can also take this percentage into account because the sales will also grow as you grow as a company. And eventually your, needed inventory for the sales might be higher because, you will grow. So you can input also this projected monthly growth here.
Okay. And so if you're seeing on that, like, based on when you see that you're doing 3% more than you were last month, this month versus last month, if you start to see that trend of you're doing 5% more each month, then you could start to use that number in here rather than just guessing.
Right. So
Okay.
if you're as you've said, if you're following it or see a trend, right? So if you see that you're growing over time, not just you have a spike for any reason, but if it's something that slowly but gradually pulls you up.
Okay.
All right, so this is everything in terms of the forecast, right? But besides that, in order to have, as I said before, in order to have these days of stock left and days until next order columns calculated, you need to tap into these two tabs. So the first one is the supplier order. This is where you input your lead times, right? So the first one is the number of days for which you want to have stock for. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's say after I receive a new batch of products, I want to have products for 21 days, 3 weeks of sales, right? So this is my target. And then I can also include a small buffer, or I don't know, whichever buffer depends, of what kind of products I'm selling.
From when you ship it to you, from your house to how long it takes to check in at Amazon and become active.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have your manufacturing times. This goes for private label sellers, but depending on how much what this actually means is how much time does it get to the product to get prepared for being not shipped to you, but being ready to be shipped. So I guess if it can be shipped instantly, this would be probably one. And if you're using a prep center, you can check this box, and then you will tell how much time will it take to ship the product to the prep center, right? So maybe, I don't know, it will take 2 additional days, and then ship it to FBA from the prep center. So this is the logic. These are the lead times that Sellerboard will take into account when telling you, hey, knowing your sales velocity, this is speed at which you're selling the products, and knowing how much time it takes, for the products to be whatever manufactured, or if they're ready, just to be shipped to your prep house or your FBA house, FBA warehouse. This is when you have to reorder, because all of these numbers are there. So when you enter all of this, you can click apply, and then you will have these two values calculated. One more important thing, knowing that you are interested in creating the in the feature of creating the FBA shipments, there is one more tab. This is the product dimensions. So this is where you will enter the dimensions for all of your products, and this will come in handy when you will be creating the FBA shipments. So you will have all the data already there, right?
Okay. Now, do you have to enter that yourself, or will it pull it down from Amazon if they are already stored?
If they are stored there, then it will be pulled if you have that already in the
So if it's not like a brand new private label product and it's already stored in Amazon, it will pull those.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it will. Yeah.
One question on the previous tab that you just had pulled up, on those days, is that business days or calendar days?
So
Or like
all of these,
manufacturing and logistics, when you're putting in like
yeah,
3 days, is that, I would assume it would just be calendar days.
calendar days, right?
Okay.
It will be calendar days. Okay. So now, now that you've entered all of these lead times, and now that you've tuned your forecast for sales, you will have days of stock left, and you will have your days until next order here. And one more important thing is the fact that there's this alerts module, and you can actually set up an alert that will alarm you that you will be running out of stock pretty soon with some product. So you can, get notified via email that it's a good time to reorder something. Yeah, so those work together really well.
I was going to ask you about that for like seasonal products. So you could set up to get alerts for, like, for example, all of your meltable products. So, for example, you want to send those in April because all of your sales start in April for your meltable products. Or excuse me, all of your sales start in October for all of your meltable products. So it would see that all of your sales increased in October, and it would alert you that you need to reorder because you don't have any stock available based on like what we set up. Then it would tell you, hey, you need to have stock for these products, and it's time to reorder all of these, and send you an email.
Yes, it
Okay.
definitely would, because if you will start having higher sales in a particular period, let's say in October, like you mentioned, then your sales velocity will spike. So because Sellerboard will analyze the fact that you are selling more and more each day. And then, of course, your forecast for the upcoming period will be affected. And then there will be this discrepancy, of what you have now and what you're expected to sell. So this is where, the days of stock left will shorten. So you'll have, less days of stock, and you will get a notification if you set it up.
Okay. Yeah, because those are all products that from October or before October, like, we're not able to send into FBA. So like all of our stock would be 0 on all of those, or they actually wouldn't even be listed. So I didn't know if there was a way to get alerts on all of those products or not.
So Uh, the products, the alerts regarding the stock values, so they only work with the days of stock left. So these two values, and they only take into account the fact how many days left stock you have left. So no other criteria are taken into account. I mean, you set up everything regarding the forecast, and the lead times. Sellerboard will calculate how much time left you have, and then when you will reach a threshold, then it will send you a notification.
Okay,
So
so it has to be actively listed in Amazon and have stock to get alerts on it.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Now I get the question. Sorry.
Yep. Okay. I was just trying to
um,
see because there are like seasonal products we only carry. For example, we're only going to carry Christmas items during Christmas, but we carry them every single Christmas. And it would be fantastic to be able to set up alerts for those items to I'm gonna have a whole list for you by the time we're done. Um, to be able to mark those items to get alerts and set dates for those alerts. And then you just get emails that say, hey, it's time to reorder. Here's your ASINs. And then you just go through and you check and see if they're still profitable and you send out your orders.
Another good idea, Ashley. I just wrote it down. Thank you. Not yet, not yet. But yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, especially with the discussion regarding seasonality that we had, right? So
Yeah.
why not? If you know your seasonality and you know the products that are prompt to seasonal sales, why not set this up?
Yeah, I
Good.
mean, for a lot of us, it's the same products and the same, we do the same things every year. We have our normal products that we sell all of the time, and then we have our seasonals that we go back to every year. And the only reasons we don't go back to them is because sometimes they just get lost.
Mhm.
So having a way to save them, and especially if you're saving all this information for us, um,
Mhm.
having a way to just remind us would be great. I do love
And
your guys' emails though. I've been getting emails. Like for example, I got an email the other day that one of the titles of one of my listings was changed.
changed.
And considering I recently had a listing that the entire product was changed, and I ended up getting 15 returns
Oh,
and a violation on my account because they changed the product on me and I didn't notice right away. Before I was with you guys. It has been absolutely fantastic to get those emails from you guys, because I feel like now if something happens on one of
yeah.
my listings, if there's any sort of little change, you guys are going to tell me about it right away. It's really nice to know that you guys are checking all of those little changes for me.
Thanks, thanks. It's really pleasant to hear this because it's one thing to understand that how a feature works, and I always point out the fact that okay, this can happen, and it's totally different thing to hear a real story from someone that benefits from the feature, and yeah, uh, there are some events that require immediate action. So there's not a
Yeah,
whole bunch of them,
yeah.
to act on time. But yeah, this type of stuff, yeah, it definitely helps.
Yep. And I even talked to I got with Amazon, I talked to the catalog team, and they said, yeah, we can see this is who changed it. We can see that it was changed. We can see that, your product was the one that was on there, but the person that changed it was the one that originally set up the listing. So they're
Yeah,
completely within their right to change it. And now
right,
your product is not the right one.
right, right.
And there's nothing that I can do about it. I was still at fault.
So does it mean that you can create a new listing for you, or find the new appropriate listing for the products that you have?
Yeah, but I had to, because my products were FBA, I had to recall them
Oh,
and then
okay.
pay the recall fees and then pay to send them all back in order to do
Mm,
that.
right.
And so by the time you do that, A lot of times, I was not making, these were very small items, and I wasn't making a high profit on them anyways.
Yeah.
So if they even get back here without being damaged by Amazon, which, that's a coin flip as it is.
Sure.
If they make it back to my house without being damaged, then I'll have to try to find another ASIN to sell them on and send them back out. But half the time, the stuff ends up, by the time it gets back here, it's damaged, and that's kind of the end of it.
Yeah, totally get it.
So,
Yeah, I guess these are the type of things, you cannot change. You just can adapt in a way
yeah,
to
yeah,
them.
it's just part of it. Like it's just part of the business.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the bad news is that I don't have too much time left. And I think that there's some more that we could potentially, go through. Maybe some of the things I'll try to maybe get and give you an overall impression of some of the tools that we have left, and maybe point out some of them that might be of more interest for you. So let's finish with the inventory tab really quick.
Okay.
So as I was saying, these are two values right here, the prep center stock and your ordered stock here that you can enter by hand, but you can avoid that by using the purchase orders mechanism. So what is this? You can create purchase orders in Sellerboard, and you can create, actually include all your suppliers here in Sellerboard. There's the supplier tab right here, and input all your general information. I really do understand that this works more for the private label sellers, but so I'm going to tell you anyway how this works. You create a purchase order. Let's create a new one right now. And then you just basically, first of all, enter all your basic information regarding the supplier, carrier, tracking number, and then you include the products that you want to order, right, in the purchase order. Then you input the number of the products you want to order, the number of boxes, or if you have units per box entered, or vice versa, if you have number of units per box, then this will be calculated. And then you input your manufacturing costs or the price of the products, and it will calculate the price per unit, and then you will add your transportation cost. This means basically everything else that's outside the price of the product itself. So it's shipment, or it might be, I don't know, any additional services linked to it in when it goes as far as private label goes. You might have, customs fees, you might have additional services on the production side, some quality checks and stuff like that. All of this goes inside here, but basically these are the cost elements that we've seen when creating price badges, if you recall that.
Yep.
So all of this goes here, and they will be calculated per unit. And then you can link this purchase order to an FBA shipment, an existing at the moment, to an existing FBA shipment. And why do you need this? So when you input all of this information, you save this purchase order, and you can export all of this info as a CSV file or an Excel file that you can send out to your supplier as your purchase order, right? And then when the status of the order will change, like from draft, when you will change it to order and click save, then in the ordered column, in the planner, the inventory planner, these numbers that I've just entered will pop up. So this means that these products have been ordered, right? So, and then when these products, this purchase order will be shipped, and I will click save, then the numbers in the inventory planner from the ordered column will be transferred to whatever place you have, but not shipped, but closed finally, because when they are shipped, there might be some changes, maybe less number or some additional costs that you need to input, and you can still do that. But when the purchase order will be finally closed, meaning that the products will arrive to your FBA warehouse or your prep center, then the numbers from the ordered column will be either transferred to your prep center if you're using one, or will be just transferred to the FBA warehouse values. So this is kind of a way to automate partly this process, because you're only creating one time the FBA, not the FBA, the purchase order, and then you send out to your supplier, and then you just change the status, and the numbers move accordingly from column to column, allowing Sellerboard, to process those numbers and give you a forecast and give you a period when you have to make a new order.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, and in the FBA shipments here, now you can only see your existing FBA shipments, and how you can already use this feature. You can tap into the ones that have discrepancies in the numbers, like what was shipped to the FBA warehouse and received in comparison to what was originally sent. So if you click on one of those, let me click here, edit and view. So I can see, units ordered versus units received, and I can really see that the FBA warehouse only received half of the units. And also, I already see that the status of this purchase order, the FBA shipment is closed. That means that there's a problem. The warehouse didn't receive all of the product, so I can open up a ticket and see what's up with that. And this is the place where you will be creating your FBA shipments when the feature will be rolled out again. So one more thing I wanted to show you, basically several things, but on the very top levels, I have a few minutes left. So the Autoresponder is a place where you can set up automated email campaigns to get a seller feedback, or product reviews and seller feedback, right? So probably the seller feedback is what is more important. And now you just create a campaign. You can either opt to use the Amazon standard template. So, customers will see an email from Amazon, or you can create your own template for it. You can use some targeting options, like you can target new customers or repeat customers. You can exclude some of the types of customers. And this is basically it. Once you set it up, it will start rolling and it will start generating reviews for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is also included in the base package. I think it's limited depending on your package by the number of emails that you can send out, depending on the sales, something like that. So then the money back feature, you have 3 different scenarios where you can ask to be reimbursed by Amazon. The first one, when you have lost or damaged inventory by Amazon, and you have a complete guide how to act in those cases. Also, you will pull out a report and you will follow these steps to eventually contact seller support and send the report to them, and to see, hey guys, please check out this case because I think that you've lost or damaged some of my inventory. The same goes with returns. There are cases when customers asked for reimbursement, got reimbursed, but never got to send the product actually back to the FBA warehouse. You can also find these cases using this report that you can pull from Sellerboard, and also follow this guide, to send out this report to Seller Central, get reimbursed for that. And also the changes in FBA fees, because sometimes your product might be wrongly measured and placed in a wrong category, and you will be overcharged. So you can also download the report, see how the FBA fees evolved, and maybe spot something that you will find suspicious. So, and the last thing here, the alerts feature, we've already discussed that. So the alerts feature lets you choose different scenarios when you want to be notified about certain events that happen in your Amazon account. This is the log. And this is the type of event, the product that it's related to, the event is related to, and the details about it. Like, for example, here we see that the FBA fee changed for this product from 296 to 266. It's an actual decrease, not a whole lot of a deal, but sometimes when the fees dramatically increase, then probably you should check whether it's legit or not. And here's the settings tab, where you can specify which events you want to get notified about, and even enter separate emails. For example, if you have a small team maybe, and someone's working on one side of the business like inventory, and he wants to be notified about stock or whatever, and the second one is taking care of the listings, or he wants to be notified about anything that's related to the categories, the parent-child relations with the ASINs, because there might be different variations, maybe the names, the images, the descriptions, everything that's related, to the listing, as with the example that Ashley brought up. All right, guys, I think I'm going to bounce. Sorry, I have no more time left.
You spent so much with us. I am forever grateful. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the conversation again. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you for the ideas. I have all of them written down, and I will definitely reach out to the product team to see if we can implement some of those. And yeah, thank you again for reaching out. Thank you for your interest. Best of luck. If you need maybe details or anything on some of the tools, feel free to reach out again, and I'll see how I can help.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye.
Sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.